Hey, Cardinals fans, welcome back to the Redbird Rundown, presented by E57 Sports, your home for all things St. Louis Cardinals. Hey, this is Andy, in case you didn't know. We're joined today with Jonathan and Matt, and we would love it if you guys would take a second, share those Spotify links, do all the things that we ask. It helps us so much. Truly, it is. Thank you so much. We're growing this community. They can be found on Facebook, Blue Sky, Twitter. You can also watch us on YouTube. See what kind of threads everybody's got going on today. We might have some Star Wars today, boys. On today's show, we are going to dive into perhaps the only shining beacon of light that Cardinals fans have to look forward to in the 2026 season, which is not the team in the major leagues, but the team in the minor leagues, the farm system. And we have been rated by Fangraphs, which is a website that compiles lots of advanced metrics. And for the casual listener, it's good to be where we're at. We are ranked number 2 entering the 2026 season, which is a lot better than 30th or 29th. So we're gonna just spotlight who we personally, as a podcast, are looking forward to coming up either this season or in the future, maybe 2027 or 28. Talk about their ceilings, their floors, what we think who they might look like, maybe a major league, comparison. So we're gonna dive into that just straight away because there's a couple of guys that we really want you guys to get your heads wrapped around some names, right? I think that's huge for the Cardinals brand is to really get into name recognition because there's not going to be possibly hardly any coming into this season, right? With a lot of circulation, a lot of rumors happening this offseason, what the Heim regime is going to do. We might get rid of Willie. We've talked about this in the pod. He might, as Matt likes to say, we might just burn it to the ground. So, boys, let's get out there. Let's get some listeners, some people who we can start wrapping our brains around, sink our teeth into, and maybe get some comparisons of what we're looking at. What is the
Can't
number
wait.
2 minor league system? Uh, First of all, let's just get this out. It's not in the notes. Is this a because of Mo, or is this because of Heim, or is this because this is the Cardinals' way? Jonathan, your thoughts on that?
Hmm.
That's an interesting point. I think the way I will answer this is Fangraphs does this ranking by future value of the prospect. So JJ Weatherholt is pretty high because they think he's going to be good. So it takes into account development, not necessarily just where they were drafted. So I think that Mo gets some of this for drafting them and in his
Okay.
regime and drafting them. And I think Heim gets a little bit of this for his player development group coming in here and some of these guys beginning to pop off, meaning that they register on this list, which elevates our ranking. Matt, does that track to you?
I disagree with you in part. I see what you're saying. I think that Mo's part of this is more of a serendipitous stumble into this, i.e., we never draft high enough to pick the J.J. Weatherholts and the Liam Doyles.
Sure.
And those are the two crown jewels of our system right now. And that is basically the ineptitude of the end of the Mozeliak regime tripped into some premium talents that I mean, honestly, we probably should have pulled the plug a couple of years ago and maybe should have 4 or 5 of these guys, these premium talents. So
Four,
I
five,
agree
or
with what
six,
6 or 7. Yeah, sure.
8 or 9?
Sure, absolutely. I hear what you're saying about the Himes player development guys. I do agree with that. I will say, just real quick, Mo did, and Mo's team shines at getting these fourth round, fifth round, sixth round, seventh round, eighth round
Ah,
players,
Boo.
and getting them, getting them to the big leagues. So you look
Yeah,
at like
for
a
sure.
Quinn Matthews. So anyway, those are just kind of all my thoughts. I think the crown jewels Mo tripped into is basically where I'm landing there.
okay, so let's go with perhaps we won't go in any specific order other than what I prompt with, which is who is the most likely and most exciting. Well, we're gonna put those together because I feel like most exciting is probably most likely to end up in the majors this week. Who are you most excited about? We'll just start with there. Matt, who are you the most excited for as a Cardinals fan that they're coming up? Should be a
Oh,
layup.
well, it is no question, no doubt. Ronald Rodriguez.
Whoa.
Because, yeah, I mean, I love JJ Weatherhold. I love some of these guys, but Ronald Rodriguez is the name that could end up at one if he continues this offensive performance as a catcher, one in all of baseball. And this is the guy that could push us. We have a lot of pitchers on this list. I think that is wonderful. We need some bats. And here is a guy that the scouts say is the best 19-year-old hitter they've ever seen in their lives. And so it is very, very difficult for me not to be more excited than Ronell. I know JJ Weatherhold is closer. I
Yeah,
think he'll
yeah.
be there next year. But if you're just asking me straight up who am I most excited about, cannot wait for some R-Rod.
Okay. Jonathan, who are you most excited? And I'm going to go back to Matt's answer
Yeah.
here in a second.
I like how you manifested R-Rod.
Oh, yeah, we're just doing it.
Can we just like Rod? Rod?
R-Rod.
Nah,
R-Rod.
something like
Yeah, I
that.
don't know.
I'm gonna do the chalk boring answer and go with that. That would have been mine as well. I could have gone Liam Doyle just because we have not had a pitching prospect like this
Mm.
in a long time. But I read something the other day, and you could fact check me in real time here, but I thought I read where it said that no age 18 hitter has ever hit 20 home runs in like their age 18 minor league season between the complex league, the Florida league, right, low A, and then high A. That's crazy if that's true. If he's literally the only one and he was 18, the sky's the limit, right? I mean, if he taps into all of that, we're talking about, I don't want to say like Pujols reincarnate, but I don't know what to tell you. Like that's
Get him a new position. I know
Real
what to
quick,
tell him.
yeah,
well,
Get him a new
sidebar, and then
position.
I want you guys to give me some
yeah,
comps. Who is he like? Some numbers. Why are we excited?
yeah,
Sidebar, real quick about poo poo. I don't know what it is on Reddit, but there is this fascination for like the last 5 days of just arbitrarily pulling different seasons and comparing two players, and it has been Albert Pujols and like versus like all sorts of different people. It's been insane. It was like against Barry Bonds. It was against like Juan Soto. I don't know what the fascination is, and it's not the Cardinals subreddit. It's the baseball subreddit, just
yeah,
like nonstop.
The
I
fascination is
the
Poo-Poo's the greatest right-handed hitter in the
I
history of
think that's
baseball,
what it is.
probably.
I
yeah,
I
think
mean,
that's what it is.
genuinely.
They're
Yeah.
like
Like,
one of them with the Barry Bonds one was like Pujols was robbed for MVPs like in his
yeah.
career,
yeah,
and I'm like, yeah, you can slice. So, listener, if you've never seen one of these infographics, it splits up all of like games played, at bats, home runs, all those things, all those even into some of the advanced metrics, and highlights who has an quote unquote the better score. And yeah, it's been a quite fascination on our
yeah.
yesteryear Pujols. So, are we making what's a bold claim about Raniel Rodriguez? Jonathan, make a
Yeah.
bold claim. Who is this? Who do we have? Why are we excited about him?
I mean, I struggled actually, Matt. I'm curious to see, or both of you guys, how you compared him, like just a comparison. I wrote down kind of a cop out. He is a power hitting middle of the order catcher. I don't know who that is though. Mike Piazza did that,
I do.
but he wasn't that awesome necessarily defensively. Pudge Rodriguez was unbelievably defensively. Is he as good as a hitter as Pudge? I didn't know where to put him for a true comparison. So I'm gonna like skirt out of this and say that I believe that's just who he is. You don't see very many of these, I don't think. So Matt, please help me.
Yeah, I mean, he's Albert Pujols behind the plate, is what it is.
All
I
right.
wrote down Ivan Rodriguez, and I mean, I want to say
Mhm.
this carefully. I mean, peak of the steroids era, Ivan Rodriguez. If you go to his baseball reference page, there are some like triple slash home run RBI lines that just make your eyeballs pop completely out of your head, like Wile E. Coyote in the Roadrunner cartoons, and it's just incredible.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want to smoke this guy too much because he's 19 years old and
Glaze
he's a
him.
long way away. Glaze him, right? I have his ETA at 2028, 2029. If you're looking for a
That's
downside
what I
comp
did.
for him, this is exactly what I wrote. I wrote in/A. I refuse to do it. I'm not going. I'm just going to glaze Ranael until he runs into some kind of issue because we're talking about this guy is going to start in probably low A or high A. Will probably be in double A by the end of next year at 19 years old. You don't
Mm.
see this kind of stuff. This is like Juan Soto comes to the majors, King Griffey Jr. comes to the majors.
Yeah.
Again, so if we're talking best case, worst case, best case is Pujols as a catcher.
Yeah, I likened him to a slash of two people like merged together
Mm,
of a modern era as Big Dumper with with some power.
yeah.
But then like the contact of not a catcher. I couldn't find a catcher. I struggled like Jonathan. Like
Yeah.
there's not like again, we could glaze all we want about low A, single A,
Hmm.
stats, but there are definitely worse things that can be said about an individual, right? Like
Yeah.
that's what I kept coming back to every single time. It's like, of course, the three of us have no crystal ball. We can have no idea. No one does. No one knows exactly. We can read the signs. We can read what they're currently doing, the production, but he could get moved up to AAA, Lord forbid, pull something, rip something, and then all we have sudden we have that. Oh, remember Rodriguez? Oh, that guy would have been
Yeah.
crazy, or like something like that. So give me downside, Jonathan. Matt
Yeah.
had none. Do you have a downside of him so far?
I mean, it's so limited in what we can see because he's in these low complex leagues, but it could be defense. We haven't really seen it. I don't think that he projects as like an excellent defender, but again, it's behind the plate. That may not even be his true
Yeah.
place. I don't know.
So his downside
Um,
is Ivan Herrera.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, maybe even a better
Yeah.
hitting. I mean, I hope better hitting, but
Coming up in
Yeah.
an era of baseball
yeah.
where
I,
defensive catchers are less important because of ABS.
Yeah,
You
and
got an
here's the
arm.
other thing too. Like this is what I wanted to caveat with Ron Ale was we haven't had a hype train guy like this in a while.
Whew.
Like I know Weatherholt, Doyle, but like this is really like holy cow. Because if you harken back to Juan Soto, people talked about Juan Soto like this. We're like, oh, let's see if he hits a ceiling. Well, he hasn't hit it yet, right? So like he just
Got the Fay
continued to keep
line.
going. He never, double A did it, triple A did it, got moved up. He just never stopped. Nobody knows if he's going to do that. But if this guy never stops, you have something that teams wish they had in a generation. You know what I'm saying? We just haven't had a guy like this since Pujols, and he's 20 years or he's 18 years old and he hit 20 home runs. Man, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, if this exercise is upside downside, you're going to hear this a lot in this podcast. Here's what his career looks like if it goes really well. Here's what if he
Yeah,
doesn't quite work out. We haven't seen him not work out yet. So I don't know what the downside of Rodriguez looks like. And you're right, we don't have a ton of information on his defense yet. So for right now, that the only thing I could say is like sky's the limit. This is great. I'm really trying to get the listeners to understand
hype
at
train.
19 years old how huge. I mean, this is like some kind of like samurai movie, some guy coming out of the mists of Mount Fuji, just this legendary samurai to save the day. Like that's the level we're talking about here. This is the best prospect we've had probably since Pujols.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's high praise. That's
yeah,
Nicolas Cage right there. Uh, Jonathan,
yeah.
give me
Hmm.
the person that you think gets slept on the most from
Hmm.
your list, that you personally want people to see and hear. This is your personal shout out to
Okay.
someone who you're like, they may get overlooked, but actually low key, they're really good.
Well, my mind, my eye here, looking at my list, just gravitates towards Chen Wei Lin. I've kind of followed him a little bit for the last couple of years. It was an interesting pick when we did it. Anytime you pick someone in from the Korean league or from the Japanese league, you kind of think, why didn't they stay over there? It's
Mhm.
an interesting track to come straight to because you got to go through the minor leagues. It's almost maybe better to go through your Japanese system, get posted, and have some of this, basically just like an auction for you, right? What's the highest bidder going to go? He's 6'7". Dang.
Oh, golly.
He's got to grow or shrink.
God
Those are the
dang it.
only options. Yeah.
He is 6 feet 7 inches tall. He's got a super high K percentage. We know we've talked about this many times here. His walk rate is extremely terrible. That's his downside. He had a 17.5% walk rate in 2025, which is abysmal.
It's
But
just horrible.
but you learn how to pitch in the minor leagues. And if this is something that continues to be a problem, a la Quinn Matthews, then the hype on Chen Wei Lin starts to come down a little bit. But being that tall, having such a high K percentage, I comped him to somebody like really high, like Logan Gilbert.
Mm.
High fastball velocity, very long extension. These tall guys have that. That's what makes Gilbert so hard to hit. Noah Syndergaard was very similar,
Mm.
tall
Mhm.
I remember
guy.
him. Who is Noah
Throws
Gilbert?
hard.
Where's he from?
Logan Gilbert, he pitches for Seattle, the Mariners.
Oh, okay.
He's their best pitcher. He's an all-star last year.
Should have known that. I
Yeah,
picked
so he also was in the Arizona Fall League and has been elevated and promoted kind of quickly. Whenever you see that, it's typically like the Cardinals see something they like in him and they want to see him going up no matter what his ERA is, maybe even his walk rate. If they think his stuff plays, they'll continue to elevate him. So, of everybody on this list, he's the one I think I'd want to highlight for
He's a sleeper.
sleeper, or let's see what he does next year.
Right. So do we feel, Jonathan, do you feel
Mhm.
like is he a starter? Is he a reliever? Where is he?
It really just depends on his development, and I don't mean that to be a cop-out answer, but if he walks people like this, they're going to try to trim that down a little bit, and maybe he doesn't have the stuff to do it over 4, 5, 6 innings. I think they want him to be a starter, and they should try. If you're this tall, and I'm not going to say the height again, right? Have excellent K percentage. You got to try to eke that out as much as you can. We don't
Is
want
that
to have another Libertor situation where what is he, a reliever, a starter? Do they pull him back and forth?
Mhm.
I don't want to see that with these guys. So hopefully they figure that out sooner rather than later.
so downside is does he make it out of the minors? Is that how low this is with the walk rate? We'll say
No,
that's
I don't think so yet. He's so young.
He's
It's hard
24.
to
He's 24. He's like
from
Libertor's age.
Well, here's the thing about that. He's young from coming out of that league.
Yeah.
In that, if he continues this, I think you're right. They may transition him out. I think also, too, with the fall league, they wanted him to get more innings because he's been injured a lot. That was going to be my downside. I did talk about the walks. He's battled injury. He's one of these dudes that's got this really high ceiling. If he can put it together, it's like, wow, okay. If he can't, he may turn into another Tink Hintz, which is not on this list, where we really had a lot of hope for Tink, but injuries have derailed him, and just concerns about his longevity and his fitness to make it.
yeah. Matt, give us someone that you personally feel like might be slept on, someone you want to shout out and say, hey, let's look at this guy.
Well, here's Ishan Henderson. And here's what's interesting. We're also going to talk about Bryson Motts. But Ishan Henderson had better numbers than Bryson Motts. But Bryson Motts was just named the Cardinals pitcher of the minor league year, which is interesting. And it must say something about how the organization sees these guys. But Ishan Henderson had, 93, 94 on the fastball, cutter, curveball, slider. I had his upside comp as Jaime Garcia.
That's a really
More
good one.
strikeouts. I think it's important when I start to say my comps. Jaime Garcia does not throw as hard as Henderson does, but Henderson does not throw hard for today's modern game. So when I'm comping these guys, I'm trying to, deal with the fact that everybody throws harder now. The downside, I thought also could be Jaime Garcia. So Jaime Garcia had some, genuinely really, really good seasons for us where he put everything together. And then there were some downsides with him. He was injured a lot. And then there was just some years he didn't have it as much. I have Henderson's ETA is like 2027, maybe late this year. He's in AA. He's already doing it. I would expect him to be in Memphis at some point. So I think this is under the radar. He's not Quinn Matthews. He's not Liam Doyle. He's also left-handed. It's crazy how many lefties we have. I think he's under the radar and was incredibly successful and had huge strikeout rates in AA. AA is right on the cusp. I know there's, Triple A is a leap up, but the leap from AA to the majors isn't as big as like rookie ball to AA. So he's doing it.
They say that's the biggest jump is to get to AA. If you can do it there, you're not that far
And
off.
he's doing it.
Yeah, and the thing I was going to add about I wish his name was we could say it differently. Ixion, just something like that. I just wish, but Ishan's just going to have to be Ishan.
Put some respect on that name.
I know, I love it. It's so different. He's a finesse, like deception guy.
Yeah.
So that tells me he can pitch, right? Doyle, as we'll talk about, he just throws smoke, and that's really helpful. But when you don't throw absolute smoke, and I'm not saying 93, 94, 95 isn't really hard, but you have to learn how to pitch and get people out, and he has not had any issues doing that at a level that typically people hit a ceiling pretty quickly.
Well, this was just I just looked it up. Bryson Motts won the inter-club MLB show tournament. That's why he was named that. That's totally made up and falsified information.
Okay. All right.
All right. So let's get to some guys that you were probably going to hear this year. Like, is there anybody on this list that you have that we are going to see them this year? So, listener, if you're a Cardinals fan in 2026, we are going to see fill in the blank Jonathan. Who are we going to see?
Matt, I think there's two names, and I think you'll probably
three,
talk about.
but go ahead.
Okay. Maybe. Oh well, it could be. Okay, I see who your third one could be. I'm gonna go with Weatherholt. Let's just talk about him for a second.
Yep. Let's talk about him.
This solely depends on who gets traded and who does not. If we have Arenado and Donovan, I think he's still in AAA. I don't think that's going to happen.
I do not
but
either.
I think that there's a world in which maybe,
It's
but
not gonna
I think
happen.
you're going to see him.
It's not
Yeah,
gonna happen. It's not
please,
gonna happen.
please.
Manifested,
So
all right.
that's right.
Yes.
What is JJ's upside? It's really a lot. He's a high contact guy, right? Average on base, but he has shown some slug, which I don't
Mm-hmm.
know that we thought was going to happen
Mm-hmm.
through Double A and Triple A. I mean, he had like the magical 300, 400, 500
Mm-hmm.
slash lines. That's what you want. Uh, Super impressive eye. Maybe has the best eye on the team, and he's not even on the team yet, right? His walk percentages are extremely high. He's one of these guys that will walk more than he strikes out, which when you see that, you know, I mean, this guy's an amazing hitter. His defense, I call it an upside too. He didn't commit very many errors. They don't have like the really in-depth analysis for defense in the
This
I would
is
minors.
not going to be
imagine-
Gorman at second.
No.
It'll be
Right.
good. Yeah.
He profiled as a shortstop, so he can
Right.
play second base.
Right.
They probably don't have all those cameras installed in every single minor league ballpark.
Right.
That we have
Right.
access to.
Right,
Yes.
that's true. The only downside that I have for now is health, and that's not really a good one.
Mm.
He was hurt before he came out of college to the major league draft. He hasn't been hurt with us, so maybe he's fine. But as for offense, defense, I don't see really a hole in his game right now. My comparison for him, I kind of shot for the moon with this.
Oh,
Was
let me
Bobby
guess.
Witt.
Oh, dang it.
Dang, sorry,
I was gonna
Bobby
go
Witt. What were you gonna say, Andy?
Mookie Betts.
Oh, okay. We'll take that too. I'm saying Bobby Witt because I don't think he's going to be as good defensively because Bobby Witt's probably the best defensive shortstop, probably better than Mason Wynn. His more range, equally as good arm. I mean, you could argue, I guess. I don't think JJ will be that.
No.
I don't think he's going to hit as many home runs as Bobby Witt. I mean, Bobby Witt's like, a 5-tool player. He's a 8-WAR guy. This is a really high comparison. But he's going to be a high contact, high on base, above average hitter infielder with a higher limit to get to higher slug. So if you have all of those things, that's like a Bobby Witt Jr. You know what I'm saying? Like just underneath Witt, but I'll take that. And I really do believe, and I feel very confident in saying that we will see him in 26, right? We're manifesting it.
Yes.
And I think that he will be successful. I don't want to say he's going to be successful right away, but there's nothing in his game, in his profile from when he played at West Virginia through all these leagues and the minor leagues that shows that he is just going to crater in the major leagues.
So, Jonathan, you comped him to a shortstop. You don't
I
think
comped second baseman.
that's what I thought too.
Yeah.
I comped his hitting profile. That's really what I was looking at, was who he was. Second baseman, honestly, in Major League Baseball, Matt, I'm interested to hear yours. There's not that
Yeah.
many great ones. Ketel Marte, who's...
Let me give
who
you my
else we
names. So my upside comp is Marcus Simeon,
got? Okay.
who had some excellent years with the A's. And so here's what we're kind of talking. If it pops for Weatherholt, 20 to 30 home runs, good defense at second base,
Yeah.
high average, 6-WAR peak. You're talking about could sneak into the bottom of some MVP conversations if it really pops for him. I have his downside comp, ironically, is Donnie. And that is essentially just if the power never materializes like it did in Memphis. I feel pretty confident in Weatherholt's ability to get that power going.
Me too.
But I think at worst, you're talking about Donovan. I could even see Weatherholt being able to play multiple positions. I don't know if they'd stick him in the outfield. He's a little more of a Fabergé egg than Donovan is. But I still think he'll have a high average. I think we see him in 2026. I'm going to go so far on a limb and say he's going to take the first at bat as a St. Louis Cardinal for the team in 2026. I think he'll be hitting leadoff in game one.
Matt, can you take me to school again real quick? Did you say Fabergé?
Fabergé egg. It's like a
go ahead.
jewel. It's like a golden egg encrusted with jewels. Think like European monarchy, Russian czars.
So what Harry Potter opens with Moaning Myrtle and the Chamber of whichever movie that is in the Harry Potter franchise.
Anytime we can get
How
a
about a
Moaning
fire, baby?
Myrtle, on the pod, we just got to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, I would be delighted to have her. Okay, sorry for that rabbit trail. All right, Matt has been taking us to school every pod here lately.
He has.
All right, so I literally put him as Mookie Betts because Mookie plays short, second, and a little outfield sometimes. I can see him in the current structure. That's his upside. So a guy who chokes in the World Series.
Wow.
Just one time.
But that would have us in the World Series, which
that would
I would
have us
take.
in the World Series.
He also steals some bases. I forgot to add that, Matt, for your low level comp. Donnie doesn't really steal bases. He did in the minor leagues. So that tells me that the speed helps you on defense. Let's just be honest, right? So Donnie is not the fastest guy in the world, although on a horse he has no comparison.
We'll see if they let him have the green light because of those hamstring issues. You're
That's
right to point that out too.
very, very true. Very true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So realistically, I expect him, especially at the beginning, to at least pull his weight, like be an acceptable replacement at the beginning for sure. That's my actual realistic expectation. Not upside, like not pop off, not like he's a big whoops. I think that he'll at least listener pull his weight and be around 100 WRC plus, like around
As a
a league
rookie?
average as a rookie.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
for sure. I think for sure.
It won't be like a stinker, like, well, let's give him some time,
Yeah,
boys. And, I don't think we're going to see that
I
at all
agree.
with him. I think he'll actually be like, oh, okay, yep. He had a 103 WRC plus and, something like that.
Yeah, Andy, you're actually on to something here because Steamer, which is a Fangraphs, it's like a plugin or something that they use. They have some comparisons. Zips is the same thing, or some projections, I should say. And they have Weatherholt as a 106 WRC plus next year.
I think
So
that's low,
106.
but
I do too.
I think that's yeah. I mean, he's gonna come into the major leagues and be an above average player because the defense will be above average right away. And I think the basement for his hitting is league average.
That's 102 plate appearances. I wanted to say that quickly. That
Mm.
they don't think he's going to be here, but again, these projections they
Yeah.
got to be careful. You know.
Yeah, they do. Let's get in on the catcher slash DH pileup that we have, and going to add to this. So obviously we have talked about this previously in our previous pod. Listener, if you want to hop back and look at who we thought was going to be in our roster, the catching position is turning into the middle of the infield for this past season for the Cardinals, because we have somebody who's sitting down there who's not Jimmy Crooks, who Jimmy Crooks did come up at the end of last year. We have someone who is good enough to mention, and the reason why we are the number two minor league system is because one Leonardo Bernal. Leo, so give us, Jonathan, a few metrics that
Sure.
jump out to you. What are the big things about Mr. Bernal that you like from him?
I don't know if you guys knew this. I didn't realize he was a switch hitter. I did not realize that when I was looking at his stuff, and I always love to have a switch hitter who doesn't have reverse splits. He can just do whatever he wants depending upon who's coming in.
Mhm.
Hits with power, won a minor league Gold Glove. Those are all the upsides. He's an awesome defender, and he hits with some power. He started to level off a bit in Double A last year, but put together a solid season. Here's my problem: the downside with him, maybe power at higher levels. When you start to see in Double A, if it starts to taper off, like Pedro Pajes hit a few home runs in Double A. Like, I don't want to say, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to kind of temper expectations with some power at higher levels. And we just have a billion catching prospects. So I wonder if he starts to level off, do you start to see him catch more and more and more innings in the minor leagues? Does he ever get his shot if he doesn't just break through the ceiling? Now, my comp, again, I'm going to come back to Pajes, but I want to be gentle here. Pajes is an excellent defender, and he deserves his flowers on this. And we have seen him, and Cardinals fans should be familiar with him. Think about Leonardo Bernal is a 10 times better hitter than Pajes and a 2 times better catcher than Pajes. So think about that. If you have Pajes behind the plate, you feel pretty good defensively. Bernal's better than him. And then it's leagues better offensively. Power, switch, hits for contact. Just to give you a frame of reference, that's where I think Bernal, I think he's going to break through. I think he's going to be on the team just because we've seen so much of Pajes, not to rail on him here, but he's going to make it to the major leagues. I do believe that. I just wonder if we're not going to get quite what we thought from him. He's maybe a tier down than what we think. Matt, am I smoking something on that one?
No, I've cooled on him quite a bit because of the bat. His bat cooled at Springfield. Now maybe he bounces back. Maybe there's adjustment period. I'm seeing him as like average bat, above average defense. So
Yeah,
if
that sounds about
you
right.
look at that, I'm going to give you two
Pedro
Cardinals
Paez.
catchers. Okay, if it works out as best as it possibly could work out for his career, Yadier Molina. Average bat, incredible defense. I don't know that we're going to get to that level, right? But like Yadi had some solid offensive seasons. I think at worst, you're looking like a Mike Matheny as a player, really good defensive
Handsome.
catcher. Won some handsome as all get out, right? Won some Gold Gloves. Couldn't hit to save his life. So I think somewhere in there, the bat concerns me a little bit. I have his ETA as 2027. I think his ETA at 2027 will not be with the St. Louis Cardinals. I think this guy will be offloaded in a trade somewhere.
Same.
Because the R Rod train is going to just
I was
overrun Bernal's.
Just about to ask that. Like, do you guys feel, because if Jimmy
Crooks is here,
right, we have too many.
Herrera, exactly.
And that was my initial thought when I was looking at him. It was like, he's definitely probably worthy to come up into the major leagues. He's a Major League Baseball player, which says something in and of itself. But I don't know if the Cardinals, especially because of, who is behind him in single A coming up. I mean, yeah, that's also, Matt, where I had him. So I'm glad you said that
he's going to have to force their hand. Like, he's going to have to tear the cover off the ball and be like, well, shoot, we have to see what he does.
I just think he's squeezed. Yeah.
Yep. I did too. All right, let's go back to the mound. Let's get into some Liam Doyle, which is our highest profile pitcher that we have coming up, as was alluded to earlier in the pod. Matt, let's start with you. Give us your main draw that a Cardinals fan should be excited about when it comes to Liam Doyle. What jumps out to you?
Well, the main draw is he's a nutcase. I don't know if he'll scream and do stuff in the majors like that. They may tone that down, but he's a nutcase. I'll go quick on Doyle. He doesn't have a long track record in the minors. Really, really electric stuff. High wattage fastball. So my upside comp for him is Robbie Ray's good years, where he was messing around as a lefty in the Cy Young consideration. Huge K punch. Doyle's got more velocity, but again, we're just further into Major League history where velocity goes up. I have a downside comp from him. This guy's young, so this may not be fair. Of Nick Lodolo, has had a good year, has had a couple of middling years for the Reds, but again, another lefty, big strikeout punch. So I think at a minimum, this is something I'm glad to see with this team is all these guys we're talking about, even as far back as Chin-Wei Lin on this list, they have huge strikeout punch. And so if we're going to fail, at least we're going to fail the smart way and not fail the McGreevy way. Right. So I'm encouraged by that. So I'm excited about him. I think we will see him this year. I think he will move quickly. I think it could be towards the end of the year. We've got some more pitchers to talk about, so I'll save this big point. But I think we could see him at the end of this year.
Just real quick, are we talking Trevor Bauer type of crazy on the mound, like launches pitch from the mound into center field? Like, is that...
To my knowledge, Liam Doyle does not hit women. But I think it's the overwrought emotions, the
think about Lance Lynn. You know how he'd cuss people out for bunting?
Yeah, more like that. Yeah,
kind of like that.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry to Trevor Bauer. Actually, don't hit women.
Yeah, it's not that hard.
Yeah.
Jonathan, give us your downsides on Liam Doyle. What do we think is a downside?
Did you have a downside comp? What is your downside comp?
I don't have a downside comp. I only have I just looked at this and just thought I'm gonna shoot for literally Pluto with this because we all know Pluto is a real planet.
Did you do Sandy Koufax?
I didn't get to Sandy. Sandy had 3 of the best years ever, I think, in the history of baseball.
Okay.
Didn't go there.
Okay.
But I'll tell you right now, his prospect profile, Andy, I'll get to your downside because this is going to lead right into it, is Tarek Skubal. They both have 70-70 fastball grades, 50-60 slider grades. Now, Doyle's command is worse than Skubal, and I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Liam Doyle is going to be a back-to-back Cy Young. Obviously, that's crazy. But when you look at just raw prospect talent, their profiles are very similar. The thing with Skubal is it took him a while to figure it out, but once he did figure it out, look at what he has done.
Mm-hmm.
So his downside, Andy, to answer your question, to circle back around, is he's going to have to learn how to pitch in the major leagues. Striking people out at Tennessee.
I thought you were just going to end it there. The downside is he's just going to...
Well, the downside is the walks, and walks is killing us. He just never
his command,
that.
He's got to figure it out.
He can't get late into games. It just piles on itself.
But when I was looking at this, and I thought to myself, who is another big lefty who throws super hard? I'm like, well, Skubal's like the guy. And I looked at their prospect pages. I was like, oh my gosh. I know you could go back and think like, well, so is Andrew Painter. You know, the guy from the Phillies. He's similar profile. And so anyway, like you can only take that.
We're talking upside. We're talking upside.
If he puts it together and maybe he learns a third pitch, I mean, he's going to get a lot of swing and miss with the fastball. And if your fastball's good, you are setting pretty, right? Like you're fine. if that's good. So walks, Andy, command. That's
And
what I'm
walks.
concerned about.
And walks is killing us.
Always.
Let's go on to a different pitcher of Mr. Quinn Matthews, whom are we going to see in the rotation this year? Because someone has to pitch other than Mr. Fitz. Richard Fitz has to not be the only pitcher out in the mound. So, uh, will we see Quinn Matthews this year, Matt?
Yes, I think we will. My upside comp for him, if all things go well, is David Price. A mid fastball velocity. David Price was excellent for the Rays.
Awesome.
Not top of the line, as far as velocity goes. Great curveball. My downside, this is going to be a big pull for everybody, but this is a guy named Randy Wolf with the Phillies. Had like a 4.24 career ERA, serviceable, good, like fine. You know what I mean? Like league average pitcher, 7 Ks per 9 inning. That's if it doesn't come all together with Matthews. I think he's a major league pitcher. I think he's a major league talent. But he's got a floor that's, to me, is like lower than Doyle's because the stuff is not as good.
Yeah. Also, no, side note: Randy Wolf is an extra for Game of Thrones at the Stark of the Winterfell area.
Oh, well, that's not a downside at all. If Quinn Matthews is a Stark, like
that's Randy Wolf's upside right there.
All right, Jonathan, you got some talking points about Quinn. Tell us about Quinn.
Yeah. So I want to get to my comp because I loved this one. I said a poor man's Blake Snell.
Okay, sure.
Blake Snell's got a horrible walk problem. He does in the major leagues, but has a really high K percentage. That's kind of what Quinn Matthews is. I was just looking at his page. He's running over a 10 K per 9 in AAA. That's really high. How is he doing that? He has an insane changeup. That's like bread and butter baseball. Is like good fastball, good changeup. If you have similar arm motion, a kind of a weird slot, it's all about velocity. It's hard to tell the difference between that. He gets a lot of swing and miss. His walk rate was 16.5%. That is astronomically bad. And the average, I should probably be mentioning this, is 7% in the major leagues. So he's 10% worse than everybody else. It's like, 10% isn't bad. No, that's really bad. He's walking a ton of people. We need to see him in the major leagues, though. He basically pitched an entire year, 94 innings last year, as I see in AAA. We're going to see him. First guy that goes down. Maybe he beats out somebody in spring training. I don't think they're sold to necessarily any of these guys. I mean, I think they would be, but you might see him in spring training and you might see him break with the team. I don't know, but I 100% think you're going to see him in 2026. But if his comp could be Blake Snell, I mean, Blake Snell's insane, right? He won a couple Cy Youngs, and it's just the K percentage. Can he keep the walks down? Can he keep the walks down? That's a problem we've seen now for a couple of these guys.
So Quinn Matthews being the poor man is kind of like being a kick streamer instead of Twitch. You're on kick, and it's like,
Speaking of deep pulls, wow.
Yeah.
That's my mind went to that whenever he said poor man, because here's why: Blake Snell streams on Twitch.
Oh wow. Full circle.
There you go.
Full circle. That's where my mind went.
I could have said great value, Blake Snell. I could have said what's the Rakuten or whatever, you see those commercials for eBay knockoff, something like that.
Yeah.
All right. So we have a few more to get to. So listener, just to recap, we have Ronnie Rodriguez, which is probably our hopefully Albert Pujols savior. Okay. We have JJ Weatherholt. We have Liam Doyle. We have Quinn Matthews. We have Chin Wei Lin. We have Axion.
Yes.
Henderson. We have not got. We have the other catcher who we're going to trade. No shots, Leo, but you're going to get traded. Leonardo Bernal, and then we have the inner team MLB The Show winner to talk about, Bryson Motts. All right, so let's talk about. I hope he played. Bryson, come on to the pod. Tell us how good you are at the MLB The Show. Maybe we'll play against you. Okay, we'll have a little game session.
That'd be great. Sure.
All right, so give us the upside of Mr. Bryson Motts. Matt, we'll go with you.
So he's a lefty that throws at a weird angle. So he only throws 92 miles an hour, but that deception is super good for him. Stop me if this sounds familiar, 10.52 Ks per 9, more than a strikeout per inning. All of these guys are going to fail, not because they can't strike out guys. The McGreevy era is over, which is going to lead into my point here in a little bit. He rode that to 2.98 ERA. I think his upside, again, if everything goes well, is like a Chris Sale. Deceptive, throws across his body. He's a lefty. He's got good breaking stuff, weird angle, all that stuff. The downside, I was really trying hard to think about this, and I was trying to stay with the same handedness. I thought like Cardinals era Mark Mulder, right? He was like kind of past his prime.
Yeah.
He was okay, kind of league averagey, sort of. Bryson Motts may not have like his downside may not have that much upside. Bryson Motts just may never make it.
Yeah.
I think we could see Motts in 2027, not this year, but next year. He's another guy that was in Double A along with Henderson. So we just have a whole train of these guys coming. So that's kind of where I landed with him. Not overpowering stuff, but it's the deception that's good with him.
He's a lot like Ishan, right? They both pitched on the same team, both in Double A. A good reason why Double A.
No wonder Springfield won 150 games.
Yeah, I mean they had the 1-2 punch of these guys. My downside, Matt, I think your comp is fantastic. My only downside is he really broke out in 2025. Can he replicate this?
Sure.
I always, it's a concern when these guys, is it a flash in the pan? You know, we have had other conversations, Matt, in the past, like Dakota Hudson was really good in the minor leagues. Like sometimes you have to.
He wasn't striking anybody out,
no,
though.
That's true. That's the only, and we'll get to your point here, but that's the only real difference is that these guys are striking dudes out, which is an awesome place to be. If you have issues throwing strikes, well, guess what? People have had successful major league careers walking people but striking people out. So can he do it again is the only thing I have to add for old Bryson Motts.
Do you want me to slide in my pitching point here?
Yes.
Let's talk about it. You're teasing me.
The only thing we got left is Josh Baez, right?
We do. Right.
Okay. So let me slide in the pitching point. Andre Palante and Michael McGreevy will not pitch for the St. Louis Cardinals past 2026. They're gone. We've got a whole wave of dudes coming. And these, I'm telling you right now, Henderson, Motts, Doyle, Matthews, they are not all going to fail. We haven't mentioned Tink Hintz, who could come back on. We haven't mentioned Takeo Roby, who will be back and healthy next year. We haven't mentioned some of these guys. So all of these guys strike all kinds of people out. And so this team that we have of the no strikeout pitching staff, it is over. So I really think, genuinely and truly, this is the last year for those two guys. Is that crazy? Like, am I going too far?
I agree. That's when I was doing this, I was like, okay, realistically, they all can't. The Cardinals can't be the number two. These people can't be so wrong that they're not all going to come out and be like perennial all-stars. We're
talking 6 of these guys, though. You know what I mean? Like exactly. 2 of them are going to hit.
Exactly. It's like throwing just a handful of darts at the dartboard and just throwing it, and like somebody somewhere is going to stick and do something. 1 or 2 of them maybe, and then may not be like, oh my gosh, it's like the next Wayno
multiple Cy Youngs.
But it's like at least it's a respectable like pitcher where it's like, yes, you can be a part of the rotation for the next good or great Cardinals team. Someone is down there and someone's going to do it. One of these guys. I agree, Matt.
And that's just what we decided to highlight. Like I was just looking again, you're talking about Braden Davis. We didn't even talk about him. He was unreal for us this year. The guys we got in the trades, Nate Dome, Mason Molina, are they going to put it together? Tanner Franklin, his buddy from Tennessee, Liam Doyle's buddy from Tennessee, throws smoke. What's he going to be?
Yes, we're going to be drafting top 10 again this year.
Yeah, so it's like
it's over.
Andy, to your point,
Brandon Clark.
This is exactly. Yep. You have got to have chances. You got to have chances at it. We haven't had chances at it for many different reasons. We tried to stay in contention for too long. We tried to patch it together when we needed to just tear it down. And I am so, Matt, to your point, I really hope that does happen. I do. I hope we start to see a transition to this new strikeout era. I hope so.
Well, I was just looking at how many times I wrote down ETA 2027, and I was like, my gosh, there's no room. And Heim will eject. I really think it's nothing like personal against Palante or McGreevy. Right. He'll just eject these guys. I also think we'll have a veteran in our rotation. I think we'll have a veteran in a rotation before the winter is over. It won't just be Fitz, Libby. You know what I mean?
No.
It won't be like every guy's under 27 years old. I think they'll do one guy like that may be more of a mainstay. So that was my big takeaway.
Yeah.
I love it. I can't wait. I'm ready to just fast forward the 2026 season. I would just sim it on MLB The Show 26 and get to 27 where I can see some of these guys.
And what's interesting, I will be looking at because I agree with you, Matt, that they're not gonna just put the kids in, and because
Mm,
they're gonna want someone. So this is what I'm interested in the veteran, which I know is not what this pod is about. It's about the kids. I will be watching like the type of player. So because if they just have a single veteran or maybe two, the type of pitchers that they are, the work ethics that they have, like you know
hmm
that there's gonna be
Yeah.
more going
hmm
into that rather than just like their advanced stats. So if we get someone this offseason and we're like, what are they doing? It may be because some of the intangible things that we can't know because we're not in the weight room or we're not
Sure.
in the film study, we're not in the like those types of
They'll want some
practices.
dogs.
They're gonna, yeah, they might be setting the people, the trendsetters of like who the like they always talk about the Patriots during the Brady years of just like they got that dog
Hmm.
in them, and I am very interested. I'm glad you brought that up, Matt, the veteran. I am actually interested in the veterans that they bring to the table, and it may at first glance be like, huh? Or it may not. They may
Yeah.
be like, but I will give them the benefit of the doubt that perhaps it's more about the intangibles, about what they're going to try to teach all these kids coming up from the minors.
And I can, I've been thinking about this as well. I think that we might be a really good destination for rehabbing veterans who get flipped at the deadline. I was thinking about that today, where if we're not good, we sign him to like a pillow deal, like the Eric Fetty. That we got him. That is exactly what the White Sox did. He was really good for them. We traded for him. He was good for us at the end of that year, and then obviously we know what happened. But like Griffin Canning is a name off the top of my head. He was with the Mets. He was really good. Got hurt. He's gone. Could we sign someone like that? I could see us doing that. I
Yep.
also could see us trading for like Sandy Alcantara. Why
hmm
not?
hmm
Why not? If you want to throw in somebody like that, and we have some money to spend, I could see Heim kind of playing this two ways a little bit.
hmm I agree.
Well, let's get to our last position player, Josh Baez. And Jonathan, why don't you bat lead off on Josh? Give us a good upside, something that
Yeah,
why did he make this list? Why are we saying, listener, Josh Baez, pay attention?
Matt, we've sort of followed Josh Baez for several years,
Yep.
and he's been
Absolutely.
largely disappointing. Hasn't ever really
I said
popped.
I said upside.
Just toolsy is all get out though. Like five tools,
Yes,
just
yes,
tools
he's oozes
spilling
it.
out of the tools box all
Right,
over the garage floor, like all over the
right,
place. Yeah.
right. His so how did he make this list? He cut down his strikeout percentage. He cut it
hmm
down by 15%.
hmm
15%. Well, that must have come from his pitch selection, laying off stuff because his slug went through
Game
the roof.
plan. Yeah.
Yep. So he's not striking out. He's hitting more home runs. He had a 509 slug in double A. That's again, 500 is the magic number. That's
So
great.
Jordan Walker, take notes.
Yep. Stole
Nolan
34
Gorman.
bases.
Yeah. Yep.
Love to see that. And he hit 16 home runs just in double A. I didn't want to count anything lower than that. He finally feels like he has his footing. Like he's
hmm
done this now. I think it's going to be repeatable for him. He's older. Sometimes you see this with these high school draft picks. It takes them a few years to find their footing in the minor leagues. Then when they do it, they really do it. I had an interesting comp. I'm curious to see what you guys think. Tyler O'Neill, and I say Tyler O'Neill not for his inability to stay on the field or his largely disappointing seasons for us. Tyler O'Neill is really like a picture perfect prospect. Big, power, plays great defense, steals bases. The poor guy just couldn't stay healthy.
hmm
And the year we had him that he was good, he got MVP votes.
hmm
Let's not forget that. So if Josh Baez could be a healthy version of Tyler O'Neill, that's somebody playing left field to right field for like 15 years.
Yep.
Not-
I agree. So it's so funny. My upside and downside comps are both switch hitters, which is not fair because Josh Baez is not a switch hitter, he's a righty. But I just started thinking like, okay, 30-30 power and speed, good defense, his average was up. Now again, can you go from double A to replicate that, beyond? Let me say before I give you the comps super fast. Shouts to Bernie Miklasz, who's got better access than we do to the organization. He wrote a great piece on what Baez did to rebuild himself and what this prospect development team did to rebuild him that
Oh,
leads to a 15% reduction in strike, right? So it was specific things that they did with him, instructing him and changing him as a player. And I'm thinking, oh man, We just need to
Wow.
repeat that over and over and over again, right? And that was the other thing that struck me about this list. If we got pitching falling out of our ears, there are not very many position players, and so we need
Mm-hmm.
guys like this to pop. So my upside comp,
Mm-hmm.
again, this is like the best possible version of his career is Carlos Beltran. 30
Ooh.
runs, 30 stolen bases, good outfield defense, right? He's got all the tools. The downside comp is Dylan Carlson,
Oh.
who was marketed as 30 home runs, 30
Yeah.
stolen bases, right? Marketed in that same kind of thing, just never figured it out. And I think that's Josh Baez. I think the ceiling is incredibly high. I think the floor is incredibly low. So this is kind of a risky sort of thing. I think if he replicates what he's doing in Memphis, I think we can see him in 2027. This is your Jordan Walker replacement if Jordan Walker never figures it out.
All right,
Nice.
so we'll see him later this year. Uh, um,
Ouch.
well, so again, listener, it's not gonna be a great year, 2026 for the Major League squad. So we hope that you listen to and maybe do some of your own research, or at least look at occasionally the minor league system. There is hope, I think, is the message that we would like to say as Cardinals fans. There's hope coming. There are things to be excited about. We don't have to be like, oh, I miss Yachty. Oh, I miss Bueno. I miss Poo Poo. Like there are players. Hopefully, one of them sticks. And this
Yeah.
is just a selection. There could be some other guys that come out of nowhere. There could be trades that we still have to make and see what Heim is going to do. This is just kind of like I said at the top. Who gets the credit for this? We haven't really seen Heim 3 years in of what is in the minor leagues, 3 years into this, of what this exercise looks like then. So I am glad that we have people that it could be worse. We say this a lot. It could be the 2025 Cardinals team. It could be, right? It
Mhm.
it could be like
Yeah.
that, but they're not. They're not the younger players. It says something that they're number two. So we don't all think that we're going to get 19 All-Stars out of the minor league system in the next 2 years, but there might be something there for us to look at. So I hope you have enjoyed this episode, and thanks for tuning in to the Redbird Rundown, your go-to source for all things St. Louis Cardinals. Be sure to subscribe and review the show. It really helps us grow. Follow us on Twitter, Blue Sky, Facebook, and YouTube for those latest updates. Keep those rally caps on, and let's go Cards.
Ixion.
Ixion.